So I finally watched Apocalypse Now. Finally got to it after I feel like years of people telling me I need to watch it. It was actually really good. My expectations going into it were beyond, high. Everyone is telling me it's like the greatest, like not even war movie, like one of the greatest movies ever created of all time. So therefore, I'm gonna have some high expectations to go into it. I was feeling pretty energetic going into it, pounding an energy drink because I knew that was gonna be a long ass movie, and I honestly took about 15 minutes to figure out which version I had to watch, and I watched the final cut. I don't know if that was the right decision. Everyone online said watch the final cut. So I watched the final cut. Honestly, after the movie ended, I was surprised on how like large scale it was, and I was like impressed. Like I was more so impressed with like the set pieces and like those huge ass like and like the huge war scenes with like the villages and the tanks and the helicopters all flying in and like the napalm scenes and them just blowing shit up left, right, and center. I was not expecting anything like that. The scene that I think about the most is by far the surfboard scene. The fact that they just kept on playing it and going with it and going with it, I was like, okay, I know exactly what they're doing, and I kind of like it. He's so adamant about going to surf out there while all the bombs are just dropping out in the ocean. These surfers are about to die, and he's like, nah, I need my board, dude. I need my board. And honestly, that's why I kind of like how unique this movie was, because there were so many parts of the movie where it had so many different kinds of characters in different situations. Because as soon as the movie starts, the first situation you're in is like, we don't give a shit about what's happening to like the people that actually live in Vietnam, and we're just attacking, we're getting fired up, we're living life, we're feeling energetic, we're going with it. And then the next one is a whole different tone, right? When they pull up to this one like circus area or something, like, or carnival area, and everyone's like pleading for them to like get picked up and like to get taken home, and they walk up to the guys who are just so numb to the fighting and they're all just so mentally tired of it. It's like, and you go to the French house and it's just a whole different atmosphere because they're dealing with their own stuff, like, with as a family and trying to hold their ground. They're not even like a part of our like stuff. Everything was like so unique throughout the entire movie. Like everything was so different. And then the boat part. Oh my god, I lost my shit during the boat part, especially when they pull up and they do the boat inspections. Like, oh, by procedure, we have to do the.
I was crashing out so badly.
I was hoping that no one was gonna get like absolutely obliterated on that boat, but what do you know? Next thing you know, this guy just sees me. I mean, granted, she did run pretty fast, but at the same time, like it was one I don't think you gotta unload on all of them. I don't know, man. I get it. I get it. It was the young one. It was like the 17-year-old young, like he's trigger. He's nerve. I honestly don't even want to make an excuse. I was actually so like annoyed of that part. I'm like, God damn it, man! Like you just killed all of these guys for no reason, and the puppy, bro, the puppy, God damn it! There's never been a movie that's like Apocalypse Now. Nothing I've ever seen, especially with like the story and like the central conflict of it. I did not expect the story to 100% be like track down a rogue colonel and take him out. Like I thought it was going to be like a whole operation like war thing, like you're just going with the vibes of it. I didn't think there was going to be like a point A to point B thing. I didn't think there was a story. No one ever told me about the story ever. So I was like so shocked, and I was so like nicely surprised about how they actually had this one guy as like the target, and they're building him up the entire movie, and every single person at least has like heard of something about this guy, or you like see like the leftover carnage of like what he's done and stuff like that. So they were building him up for so long, and I really appreciated that everything still felt like focused and didn't feel like they were just tossing stuff in just to like pad a runtime. Like every step of the way throughout the entire movie felt like it actually needed to be there, compared to like they're just tossing in random stuff. But there was like one moment where I kind of did lose a little bit of interest, and it was like the French scene. Like it was like the French family and whatnot. I mean, like I understood why it was there. I got the story element of like of all of it, but I was kind of just sitting there like, okay, all right, I get it now. Now, one thing I was kind of worried about as well was if the ending was gonna actually like pay off nicely, because I mean, once we get all the way to Colonel Kurt's there, and I was kind of starting to get worried after Captain Willard like hasn't killed him already, because I was like, okay, there's a lot of runtime left. I wonder how they're gonna use it. And then they ended up using some of that runtime to go ahead and decapitate my boy Chef, and I was honestly so upset by that. There is no need. But the ending 100% did pay off, because I think we got two of the coldest shots I've ever seen. I definitely have seen the one where he's like submerging from the water. Like, I think everyone's seen that poster and everyone's seen that shot before. But then they also do a second shot, like right after that. And it's literally him hitting the Christian Bale Batman pose with the lightning flashing on him. And he's just standing there, just, oh my, that shot was so damn good. So obviously it did feel like a good payoff, because he ended up getting, Colonel Kurtz after all of that horrific stuff that he did. Oh my God. So I mean, when it comes down to like the writing and stuff like that, I don't think there's a thing that I would change in this script from beginning to end, honestly. I think everything in there had a reason to be there, and everything was written so well, and I wouldn't touch a damn thing about it, honestly. Which also just reminded me of like the best line that I heard in the entire movie, and it was when they were at like the circus or the carnival part, and Willard walks up to like one or two of the guys that are like shooting at the enemies and whatnot, and he's like, hey, who's the commanding officer here? And he turns over, he's like, ain't you? I'm like, oh God. But honestly, I can't decide who my favorite character is, because it's either between Chef or it's between Kilgore. Like, Chef, I think, was the best part of the movie, because he had so many different reactions to different situations. Chef felt way too real. Like, he was definitely giving a lot more realistic reactions, especially when it came to like the tiger. And after he gets attacked by the tiger, he starts to go into hysteria. And when he's getting shot at the boat inspection, like that like all of his moments. Oh, and the part where he also talks to Willard about like, are we gonna kill this guy? Where Willard asks him, would you help me kill him? And he's like, have you seen the shit I've just seen? I'm 100% killing this guy with you. Why the fuck would I not? So by far, I think, the more I think about it, Chef is probably my favorite character. But that damn surfboard, especially with like the napalm line and him just, it was so weird with Kilgore too, because there were moments where he just could not give a single shit if someone had died, like, or if one of like the Vietnamese people had died. Like, there's so many bodies on the floor and he just could not care less. And then all of a sudden there's like a moment where like this mother is like bringing her toddler like towards Kilgore. Like, his name is Kilgore, right? Yeah. He hasn't really given a single shit the entire time. I don't know what I'm like, I was literally sitting there like, I hope you don't like throw this baby right now and be like some like asshole. Like, but then he takes it and he's like, no, get the baby on the helicopter, we'll go save him. Like, no, mom, you go too. I'm just like, wait, hold, okay, so you are human. Okay, what the fuck have the last 10 minutes been then? He was such like an emotional roller coaster, because he was probably the most fun part of the movie, 100%, just because of his demeanor and how he's saying things, and the surfing part, and the overhead speaker looking for his surfboard, and the napalm scene. By far, he was like the most fun part of it, but I was genuinely surprised. I was like, okay, wait, he actually is like a little human under there. Like, it's okay, all right. I honestly think like the standout part of this entire movie though were the set pieces, because the thing that comes to mind is in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, where they have the entire bridge scene during like the Civil War part, and they're just like, and they blow it up, they blow it to smithereens just to have it in there. There were like, what, 10 other parts in that movie where they had these huge war set pieces and they're just blowing shit up left, right, and center. I was in shock the whole time. Actually, wait, did they actually build every single set? They had to have, because it was in 70, like, they had to have. I honestly can't find it. They almost used real dead bodies? What the fuck? Oh yeah, everything was real. Yeah, well, no shit. Okay. Yeah, so I think the visuals and the entire set pieces, like, that were actually designed for the actual, like, the directing style was so freaking good, because he had everything so well choreographed with, like, the helicopters and the tanks and the boats and all the soldiers running and good. There wasn't a single moment where I was sitting there like, oh, that felt a little bit out. No, everything was so well done. I was so surprised. And I still think like the best directed scene in the entire movie was definitely Willard just sitting on top of like that cliff and the lightning's just flashing him and his face is all like painted. I'm like, oh, that part's so hard. And I mean, obviously the sound design for the entire movie was superb. I mean, you literally cannot make a war movie without having any good sound mixing at all. Like everything was so freaking well mixed. I could understand everyone. I didn't have to use subtitles, which was good. The music cues with like them riding the helicopters and blasting the music, and then them having to like cut in and out of certain parts of the song and stuff like that to amplify other parts of the scene was freaking good. The radio music that they were using in the middle of the movie as well, like, were just classics. Like, oh, it was so great. I think the entire movie definitely changed us, like, how I thought about the Vietnam War entirely. And honestly, now that I think of it, I think it's the only movie that I've ever seen that was actually based in the Vietnam War besides Tropic Thunder. And that's probably not the best movie to be thinking about the Vietnam War in, but now I know a lot more about it. But if I'm going to take like one thing away from this movie that I'm going to remember probably for the rest of my life, if someone were to ask me what's one thing that I'm going to remember about Apocalypse Now, it's that damn surfboard. It's 100% the surfboard. I mean, overall, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. A 9 out of 10 easily. On my scale, it goes story and writing. That's a 2 because I was so surprised with the actual story and I was really impressed with the actual writing of it. So that's definitely a 2 out of 2. The acting and the cast was great. There wasn't a single person in that movie where I was like, I'm not buying your performance. Wait, Harrison Ford was in the movie. Everyone in the movie did so great. Even if you had like only 5 minutes of screen time, I think everyone did so damn good in it. And then directing and style, gets a 2. It gets a 2. If you film that one shot of Willard's like coming out of the water and him standing on the cliff with the lime, you're getting a 2 out of 2. And then all the war scenes, man, you're getting a 2. You're getting full points. Sound and music, you're getting full points. You can't make a war movie without having actual good sound mixing. And if you play some bangers while the troops are flying in on helicopters and buzzards and tanks, and you're gonna be blasting Rise of the Valkyries like you're a Stuka plane from Germany instead of a siren, you're gonna blast such a great song. Oh my god, bro, I get why they're running. And then the last one's personal joy. It's just how much I personally loved it. Yeah, that's getting full points. Shit, it's a 10 out of 10. Honestly, I went into this movie hoping I wasn't gonna like it as much, just to be slightly different. And now that I'm going through my scale, it's definitely a 10 out of 10. Damn. Okay. Well, watch a movie next week.